Hi, my name is Bill Wells. I'm the mayor of the city of El Cajon. Thanks for coming today. We have an issue we want to talk to you about. Before we get started, I want to introduce some of the people with me. This is Michelle Metchell. She's on the city council with me. She's one of my colleagues. This is Graham Mitchell. He is our city manager. And this is Chief Mike Moulton. And all of us are concerned about something that really kind of took us by surprise. We noticed that there were a lot more calls for service, for crimes, especially people selling drugs and people being aggressive, and more homeless problems in this area and other areas surrounding hotels. So we sent out a force to take a look and see what was going on, to do some investigation, and found out that about 8 of our hotels were 25% occupied by the county voucher homeless program. And a couple of our hotels were 87, 88% occupied by voucher programs, and one of our hotels was 100% occupied by voucher programs. Now, this could possibly be something we could live with, but it should have been something that we had discussed with the county for weeks and weeks. They should have been talking about this with us every step of the way, and we got no communication. We had to find out on our own. In interviewing people, we found out that sheriff's deputies had often been dropping people off and getting them set up in the hotels. We found out that people that were staying longer than 28 days had help with the county by being picked up and moved to another hotel so they wouldn't violate the ordinance that said you can't stay in a hotel past 28 days. This all says to me that this is an active, organized operation by the county to infiltrate El Cajon with a lot of homeless people. And my question is this same thing happening in Solana Beach and Encinitas and Scripps Ranch and Del Mar and La Jolla? My guess is no. And I think I'll wait and see if anybody answers me on that question. We do know that the city of La Mesa has 0 people in their hotels, and that we also have the same problem in Lemon Grove. We don't know what's happening in Santee, but we are kind of the assumption that it's not happening in Santee, that for whatever reason, and I can only speculate, El Cajon has been chosen as the place to dump homeless people throughout the county. So that's why we're here today. We think it's wrong. I certainly, as the mayor of El Cajon, feel like I have an obligation to the people of El Cajon to stand up and try to combat homelessness as much as we possibly can. We have our own problems. We have our own solutions for those problems, but those solutions get overwhelmed if the county decides to bring all their homeless problems to us. I'm also concerned the fact that the preponderance of the money that comes in to treat homeless people goes to the county. The city of San Diego just got a $15 million grant from the state of California for homelessness, and yet we're taking the majority of the burden, getting 0 of those dollars. It's not about the money, but that is also a point of contention. So these are all things that we're concerned about. We're trying to call the county out on this. We've not gotten much response from them. I'm hoping that, frankly, the pressure put on the county by doing a press conference like this will bring around some results so we can get an equitable solution, and we can, all the cities in San Diego can share in this burden that we all should be sharing. So with that, I'll leave it open to questions, and you can ask me or any of the staff.
When did you find this out? Exactly.
Graham Mitchell.
So we've always known that there's a voucher.
Issues with microphones? It's okay. No,
we've always known there's a voucher program operated in the county.
Say again?
We've always known there's a voucher program operated in the county. In fact, we even offer vouchers. We currently have 8 people living in vouchers through a city program. We just found out about 3 weeks ago of the massive amount of dumping that was occurring from Equus into the city of El Cajon. Equus is the contractor that works for the county. And it really wasn't until just this past weekend we found out how extensive it was. So this is relatively new information to us.
So you called the county.
I called the county 3 weeks ago.
Who'd you talk to?
Talked to Barbara Jimenez.
Who's Barbara Jimenez?
She's the head of the homeless programs for the county of San Diego. She said she would look into it. Haven't heard back. I do have a meeting with her later today.
If I may, you have a meeting with her later today. You'll update us with that meeting?
Absolutely.
Or Bill will. And but her first response was, well, I'll look into it. So she looking into it doesn't mean, hey, this is our plan and we've done it.
I suspect that the county staff and elected officials had no idea that Equus is dumping homeless into El Cajon.
Okay, and help us with Equus again.
Equus is a nationwide contractor that has had a contract with the County of San Diego since 2020 to run motel voucher programs.
So, Bill, the gist of this is everybody should have their. We understand the voucher program, and it's good. I mean, we're getting people off the street.
Sure.
But again, I'm not going to get into who else gets dumped here. But the point is, Scripps Ranch and Solana Beach and zero population. And oh, by the way, we have our own problems, and we're solving them. But if you dump inordinately here, then it just compounds our problem. Is that essentially it?
That is exactly it. You know, we have enough happening with the homeless population in our own town that it takes a tremendous amount of our resources just to keep up with it. When you start seeing an influx, it gets to the point where you can't keep up with it anymore. Then crime starts getting out of control. People get hurt. It can be a very dangerous situation.
And can you tell us? You gave us some populations with the various motels. Can you tell us about why we're here at the Travel Lodge?
Well, the Travel Lodge currently is 100% occupied with homeless vouchers, almost all of them through Equus or another contractor that the county uses.
But they're only allowed to stay for 28 days on any voucher program?
That's correct. And after 28 days, what Equus does, they move them to the Relax Inn just down the street for 28 days and then back. We met yesterday with a man that has been living between these two motels for the last 5 months, back and forth, being shuttled by the County of San Diego.
What about calling Equus?
We have no relationship with them. Good luck. You should look for them. Go to their website.
The county's contracted out with them, and just like any organization, you're responsible for your contractors, right? If they're behaving in a way they shouldn't be behaving, the county should be on top of that, and it should not be a surprise to them. And if it is a surprise to them, I'll be very disappointed.
I mean, you're a bit out of joint because she says I'm going to look into it, and meaning I didn't have any clue. Is that too harsh, or? Bill, if I may, Bill, would you mind? I mean, does that mean that the county literally has allowed Equus?
Sorry.
The county has allowed Equus, or that's the contractor. So maybe they shouldn't be on top of it if this is what Equus is doing.
They're acting as an agent for the county, so the county obviously has responsibility. They have to be on top of it, especially if they're not. If they were putting all these people in the county, then that would be between them and Equus. That's fine. But they're circumventing their own area, taking them to our area, and so now they become responsible.
Why do you think it's El Cajon as opposed to Scripps Ranch? Solana Beach with more motels.
I think El Cajon has oftentimes been an easy target for this kind of thing, and people feel like that it's okay here, and that we're not going to fight back. But I tell you that times have changed, and we are cleaning up El Cajon, and we are not going to let anybody come and set us backwards.
I think this is an interesting point as well. Last weekend, the county dumped 158 people, homeless individuals, from outside the city into El Cajon. 158, that's a lot. In a city that actually has more homeless shelter beds per capita than any city in the county. In fact, we have twice as many as the city of San Diego. We do our share. And so to have the county have this expectation that we should do more is unrealistic.
Especially without more funding. You know, it's a laughable idea that the county gets all the funding and we carry most of the burden.
If I may add, you cannot put people into hotels without giving them wraparound services. That's the whole basic premise of a shelter. Housing and wraparound services. This particular facility is not providing wraparound services. You can't just dump people in rooms and say, okay, go for it.
Actually, Michelle, what's worse is Equus puts people here, and they're not here now because we have police officers around. But if you were to come here in the morning, you would see drug dealers lined up all around this property, and they're literally preying on the people that are dealing with addiction issues that Equus put here. And I talked to a lady yesterday that just moved from downtown San Diego. She's been homeless for 3 years. She's not living here on a voucher. And I said, why did you come to El Cajon? She said, this is where the drug dealers are, because this is where the county is putting people with vouchers. And so the drug dealers aren't stupid. They know where the homeless people are being congregated, and that's where the drug dealers are following. That's not appropriate.
Any more questions? All right. Well, we'll be available for individual interviews after if you'd like to. Thank you all for coming. It's an important issue for us. We appreciate you giving it the attention it deserves.